Would help if the monitor was on. There it goes. Okay. Let me plug this up and we'll get started. Okay, so I'll get you later. Okay. Okay, so you turned in homework 4.2. How did that go, the balanced weld? Hopefully it was pretty straightforward.
I explained to him that longitudinal is different for this than it is for a freaking globe. It was like pulling teeth.
He had no idea.
I definitely did. Longitudinal, the length of the work, right? It's not transverse.
I'm telling you, the buddy cop movie, it's
The
perfect.
reason why he's saying this is because I told him in the elevator.
No, I explained it last time.
Along the axis of the member.
Word, but I told him.
Again, buddy cop movie, right here. Okay, so let me adjust this. Okay, so homework 4.2 was due today, but I'm not accepting any late work because the solution just turned on. And so what we need to talk about today is our second celebration, okay, which is on Wednesday. Now, just so that everybody is clear, okay, exam 2 is only worth 15%, okay? Usually my exams are worth an equal amount. That's not the case for exam 2 in here because it doesn't cover much, okay? It's a small exam. It only covers bolts and welds. The reason why is I think that if we were to stick columns on this, columns are really, really different. And columns and beams have a lot of similarities in terms of, like, they use a lot of design aids, and a lot of the ideas about buckling and whatnot are kind of similar. So it sort of makes sense to stick columns and beams together. So this exam is sort of on an island, as it were, so it doesn't cover very much. What we're going to do today is go through like what's on the exam, and then open it up for questions from you all. I will address one question right now, which I think especially for the seniors going through a capstone experience right now, they've got a lot of work on their plate, am I right? And some of them are like, so Dr. Mike, just give it to me straight. Is this going to be like the last exam?
It's a fair question.
It's a fair question. I would venture to say this exam is more straightforward. I'm not going to sit here and tell you what's on the exam, but I expect the class average to be higher. I'm going to leave it at that. Is that fair?
As long as you're not lying.
I don't think I am.
That's fine. I'll trust you for now.
I'll make sure and park away from my normal parking spots. Watch my tires. Yeah, I don't want to have any air let out of my tires and whatnot. Okay. All right. So in terms of logistics and format, it's the same format as last time. There's a series of conceptual questions, and then there are 3 computational problems. I will tell you one of those computational problems is a bolted connection. One of them is a welded connection. The third one is one or the other. Okay. So yeah, I'll leave it at that. It is open book. I say open book because you gotta have the manual. I say closed notes, but you're allowed a formula sheet. I tend to recommend this on any exam in a civil engineering or structural engineering course that bringing a straight edge might help, especially if you have to prepare a schematic of a connection. Like if I say design a connection, I need to see the connection, so a straight edge might help, but you are allowed a calculator and you are allowed a formula sheet. My rule with the formula sheet is the same as it was before. Put whatever you want on that formula sheet except for full-blown worked out problems, because I think what will happen is you might pull values from that example into your exam problem, and that might make it confusing, and I do that for your sake, not really for mine. Okay, for the topics on the exam, it's bolts and welds, just point blank, bolted connections and welded connections. And as for the topics, I mean, like, this is it. Like, this is it. For bolted connections, make sure you can understand the fundamentals of bolted connections and that you can analyze and design bearing type connections and slip critical connections. That's it. And for welded connections, make sure you understand welding methods, welding behavior, and make sure you can analyze and design connections using fillet welds. And I mean, like, in terms of the topics on the exam, like that, I mean, again, that's it. Like, there's really nothing else to say. I put the rest of the slides together, again, as sort of a greatest hits. This slide has everything that you need for bolted connection capacity. We have bolt shear, bolt tension, bolt slip. We have our bolt bearing capacity check right here, okay? We have our layout requirements for bolted connections right here. We have our combined loading expression right here, okay? We have our process for design of bolted connections, and this process works for both bearing type connections and for slip critical connections. Really, the only thing that changes is step 2. For a bearing type connection, you just use the shear capacity, and for a slip critical connection, you use the minimum of shear and slip capacities. Note that I will tell you on the exam what, if there's a design scenario, I'm not going to make you choose between S-min or S-preferred. I'll tell you what to use. Okay, you'll know. Okay. For welded connections, we have 3 limit states. We have weld metal capacity and then base metal capacity, but we also have shear yielding and shear rupture within that. Now remember, we just compute all 3, take the minimum, and then our limits. We have minimum weld size limitations for the heat sink effect, maximum weld size or weld size limitations to maintain the geometry of the plate. And the design, again, that process, bless you, that process is very akin to the bolted connection process. And this is why these topics really work very well together. With bolted connections, what you're doing is you're determining the factored load, determining the capacity of a bolt, dividing the number of bolts. For welded connections, you're getting your factored load, determining the capacity of an inch of weld, dividing to get the number of inches. So there is an analogous trend between bolted connections and welded connections as to how you actually handle them. So they're pretty straightforward. I mean, that's it. I don't really have anything else to say in terms of what's on the exam, because that's pretty much it. With that, the floor is yours.
I've already asked you what I'm going to ask you so far.
Which is, how hard is the exam?
No, that's not what I asked. I said, is it going to be steel or algebra? That's all. It's just curious.
Oh, goodness. When we bring up columns, I'm going to have some calculus in that lecture. I'm actually not kidding about that.
That's okay if I'm ready for it.
I even put on the slide, I put warning calculus approaching.
And that's fine.
Like, I actually do that. Hold on. I'm gonna make the.
You don't have to.
You know.
It's okay. I'll make sure to bring a straight edge and pitchfork for that one.
Okay. Hold on. See, look. I even put right there, warning, calculus approaching. I even put the.
And your crowbar. You can delete that.
What level of calculus?
Yeah, that's true. That's a good question.
Well, I do have a little bit of a joke in that lecture where I know how engineering students solve differential equations.
They don't.
Oh, no. Hold on. Let me see if I can find it. If my keyboard will sync. Here we go. I know how engineering students solve differential equations. Let's see. Is this how
How we solve differential.
what's that?
That's not how we just solve differential equations.
This isn't how you solve differential equations?
They don't let us use that.
It was meant to be a joke.
That's how we solve everything.
Oh, that's how you solve everything. That's pretty good. He's like, what's the fun? Y'all gotta make me work for a living. So come on. Any questions you've got about bolted connections, welded connections, bearing type, slip critical, combined loading? Or is everybody just know they're gonna get a 100 on this exam? They know they're gonna ace it. Yeah.
If we have a design problem, are you gonna tell us what kind of welds to use?
What do you mean, what kind of
Like,
weld?
I was wondering if you said only longitude.
That yeah, I will. You'll have enough constraints so that everybody arrives at the same answer should they do it correctly. So I'll answer that more generally. There are no. Okay, there may be design problems on the exam, but I really don't want to grade 24 answers that are all correct. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So there's gonna be enough controls placed on the problem such that everybody should arrive at the same answer. What?
I think I get what you
I'm glad that you do because I'm missing it. It's okay. Okay.
We'll see.
Oh Lord.
Honestly, that was probably all I would have asked was they to specify, how you're gonna specify, but you answered it pretty well.
Well, thank you. Now, in all seriousness, there will be adequate constraints such that should you do the problem correctly, we'll all get the same answer. Okay. Everybody seems tired.
It's that pointless semester.
Tired of it, man.
I know. Which is why, so I'm so disappointed that next week isn't spring break because that's how the semester was organized last year. We would have a review, we would have an exam, and then we wouldn't have class on Friday, and then that would be it. But no, they had to put spring break back a week. So
It seemed like it's oddly late, because wasn't last week technically the halfway mark?
yeah, we're in week 9 right now. And I mean, we only have 14 weeks of instruction. Then week 15 is the final. So we're far in, you know.
Are you coming Wednesday
Am I? Well, what?
to the presentations?
Oh yes, I'll be there for that. I was just saying the exam's on Wednesday. I'll be here.
No, I mean,
Yeah, no, I'll be there.
Alright.
Like that's when I'll have some questions.
Honestly, I'm cool with you asking questions, but I know somebody's gonna ask something just.
If you ask me questions, I might cry.
No, actually, I have somebody you could ask during the thing if you want to, because he waited till
I
last
don't
night
wanna-
to ask us.
Mr. Robertson, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it.
His nose.
I don't want to know. I don't want to know. Don't.
I'm
You
not
don't
gonna, I'm
wanna
not gonna
know.
say anything, but I gotta tell you that you'll like this.
Oh God, I don't. I'm not sure I will.
Claire Snap. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
Claire of all people.
Mm-hmm. Came to that.
Snap.
Sorry.
Done.
Can you imagine that?
Can you imagine all the rage she's been hanging on to? All
She's
these
got 4 black belts.
years? Yeah.
I can't even pronounce one of the things that she does.
I don't want to know this. Come on.
Now, you're gonna find out because the secret can't remain a secret after Wednesday.
Okay.
You're gonna look like
I,
a crash and burn.
I don't want to know this.
He did give us a template though, a blank PowerPoint. He said, "Hey guys, just so you know, there's a template in Teams. It's a blank PowerPoint."
Okay, Mr. Emerson.
No, I'm sorry. It's just I can't help it. I'm
He really thought that blank template was gonna give him some better.
It was really bad.
So for those of you who have not had or are not in CE 453, don't let Mr.
No,
Emerson.
honestly, it's actually kind of cool because you're getting to use everything that you've been learning, and you're like, oh, maybe I do know better than I thought. It's a group project, and you have to contribute because there's too much to get done if everybody doesn't contribute. I mean, let's be real. I mean, there's a
Oh,
lot
Lord.
to these projects.
Oh Lord.
But it is cool because we learned about timber.
We did do some timber design for your
I
project.
think should be one of the elective class. I think it's really cool.
Unfortunately, I'm kind of loaded down this semester.
You can find it.
There's this,
I've
there's...
seen your schedule.
Oh, are you kidding me?
You got like 12 minutes on Wednesdays. You can sneak it in.
Oh, my Lord. All right, let's get back on track and talk about bolted connections and welded connections. Let's start maybe with bolted connections. Any questions, any assignments, any concepts, any example problems that were just, I don't understand what's going on? None at all? I'm getting off easy, I think. Am I? Welded connections? Well, I'll tell you what, I don't want to keep y'all any longer than you need, especially given the fact that many of you have capstone deliverables to submit, apparently. You do?
Did midnight tonight.
Okay. So I will ask any questions at all about this exam. Going once. Going twice.
It's your typical setup, right? You know, a couple short answers and a couple computations. I mean, I don't know what to ask you. I want to
I
ask you.
said that.
I know, that's why I'm just reiterating. I don't know what to ask you. I want to ask. I don't know what to ask. If I think of something, I'll come find you,
That's fine.
whether here or there.
Going once. Going twice. Good. I will see you all on Wednesday. I'll bring the party favors.